Hi, my name is Tonne, and I'm the team leader of the gut microbiome team at Berkeley Pharma. I chose this group because I'm super passionate about neuroscience, and through past internship experiences, I have developed an interest in neurodegeneration. I've also always been super into nutrition and a healthy lifestyle, and believe that they have a strong impact on your overall well-being. When I saw that the microbiome was an option for the research topic, I thought it would be interesting to merge these two interests. And highlight from my experience so far at Berkeley Pharma has been the connections I have made with people all over the US who share similar interests as me. With school being online, it has been hard to make those lasting connections, but through our weekly meetings, I feel like I've been able to make some special friendships. So, what is our literature review about? Our topic focuses on the role of the gut microbiome in neuromodulation therapies and how focusing on the gut-brain axis could help those who suffer from multiple sclerosis, which I will refer to as MS throughout the rest of this presentation. This presentation will go into many of the key terms I just mentioned. So, before we go into that, why did we choose this topic? So, when initially brainstorming for the paper, we noticed that many of us were super interested in neurodegeneration and wanted to know how the gut health could impact the function of the brain. We know that the gut-brain axis is a very novel topic right now in the medical field, and a few of us had some past experiences with prior internships and research opportunities that involved multiple sclerosis, and we wanted to look into whether modulating the gut microbiome could provide another therapy. Right now, many of the current therapies for MS aim to slow the disease progression, while the gut microbiome could provide a way to reverse the demyelination process that takes place. So, in beginning our research progress, we began to notice a connection between the gut microbiome, the immune system, and the nervous system, and we decided to take a deeper look into this. So, we read over 100 research articles and developed our thoughts into a cohesive outline. So, in making our outline, in our team there are 7 members, so we all naturally began to focus our research on 7 different topics that we found uniquely interesting. And these 7 topics became the main areas of interest in our outline, beginning with more background information on the gut microbiome and MS, then diving more into how targeting the gut-brain axis could result in a positive outcome for MS patients and the future implications of doing so. So, beginning with some background information, what is the gut microbiome? So, as you might know, there are trillions of microbes living in the GI tract that impact human metabolism, physiology, immune development, along with many other functions, such as the synthesis of vitamins and release of gastrointestinal hormones to protect the body from pathogen colonization. One standout role that we looked into a lot was immunoregulation and how almost 70% of the entire immune system resides in the gut. So, as you would expect, the health of the bacteria is highly dependent on external factors such as illness, antibiotics, diet, fitness, and many more. So, the composition of the microbiome is ever changing and is highly sensitive to chemical, nutritional, and immunological pathways. In our paper, we looked into a few probiotic species and how modulating their presence in the gut can play a role in cognitive function. So, moving on to multiple sclerosis, MS is a demyelinating autoimmune disorder that disrupts the communication between the brain and the rest of the body via cell-mediated or type 4 pro-inflammatory effects. MS patients have autoreactive T and B cells that enter the central nervous system, induce inflammation, and undermine the blood-brain barrier via cytokines. So, the most prevalent T cells in MS are called T helper cells, and these cells produce cytokines that begin a signaling cascade that accumulates into oligodendrocytic death. And in the central nervous system, oligodendrocytes produce myelin, and thus their disruption results in the demyelination of cells in the central nervous system. So there are 4 types of MS. So there's relapse-remitting MS, which is the most common type and is characterized by immune attacks that occur months or years apart, followed by periods of remission. In secondary progressive MS, it typically begins as relapse-remitting MS, and there is little or no relapse activity. In primary progressive MS, there's a steady increase of disability without any attacks. And then finally, in progressive relapsing MS, there are periodic immune attacks without any periods of remission. So, in all subtypes, patients have a steady increase of irreversible disease. And some of the most frequent MS symptoms that occur is depression, pain, decreased mobility, bowel and bladder dysfunction, sensory loss, impaired coordination, and decreased energy. MS patients are also commonly seen to have a variety of pathological disorders. Regarding MS risk factors, most experts agree that there are a combination of genetic and environmental factors. The most important genetic factor that impacts MS susceptibility is sex. So the woman to men MS ratio is a striking 2-to-1. And then some environmental factors that affect MS are geography, obesity, diet, smoking, and stress. So, as for the current therapies, treatment options for MS patients are divided into 3 categories: the exacerbation of symptoms, slowing of disease progression, and treatment of related symptoms. So, the first of which is mostly glucocorticoids because they downregulate molecules associated with inflammation in the body, such as cytokines and chemokines, and then they upregulate anti-inflammatory proteins. So, and then as for the slowing of disease progression, disease-modifying treatments, DMTs, is something we looked a lot into, and they're usually a safer option, but again, some of them have some serious side effects, so it's not ideal. And then as for treatment of related symptoms, currently, like, if in a patient that has MS, like, they're often treated for fatigue, pain, or depression. One main area of therapy that we researched was neurostimulation. Neurostimulation therapies include invasive and non-invasive approaches that target a specific nerve or region of the body. So some examples include brain temperature control, magnetic stimulation, deep brain stimulation, spinal cord stimulation, and vagus nerve stimulation. Currently, an FDA-approved implantable vagus nerve stimulator can treat drug-resistant epilepsy and depression. And researchers at the Texas Biomedical Device Center have developed a technology called the repair system that rewires neural circuitry through stimulation of the vagus nerve, focusing on targeted plasticity therapy. And this improved the symptoms for a lot of the patients. So that is exciting news, and it's something we looked into a lot. So studies have shown that cognitive behavioral therapy can improve mental health and quality of life in patients with MS. So this improves the mental health of the patients by treating them how to avoid unhealthy behavior patterns, and they can then become their own therapist by focusing on how to improve their current life rather than dwelling on the past. So, diving into the connection between the gut microbiome, immune system, and central nervous system. The reason we were interested in the connection between the gut microbiome and the immune system is because MS is a disease that progresses due to autoimmune inflammation, which is primarily triggered by T cells and potentially B cells in the central nervous system. Therefore, regulating the components of the gut microbiome that play a role in T cell activation could prove to be useful in treating MS patients. So, as I previously said, the gut microbiome regulates T cell activation in several ways. The presence or absence of certain bacterial population in the gut microbiome could influence this inflammatory response. So, metabolites in the gut microbiome can inhibit or activate inflammatory cytokine pathways. For example, the metabolite tryptophan, which is a derivative of tryptophan, is known to inhibit a specific cytokine that results in decreased inflammation. Building off of this idea, some bacteria could promote metabolic processes producing metabolites like tryptophan that interact with immune cells. Another important feature of the gut microbiome is short chain fatty acids. So some SCFAs are known to inhibit the inflammatory pathway, while others tend to promote the activation of this pathway. While we were able to find a lot of information about this topic, the interaction between the immune system and the gut microbiome, it must be explored further to fully grasp the intricacies between the connections and pathways associated between the two. So, going into the gut microbiome as a focus for MS, there are a few reasons why the gut microbiome has been an intriguing topic for multiple sclerosis treatment specifically. Alterations in the gut microbiome have shown to have effects on the immune, nervous, and endocrine systems. So, multiple different species of bacteria have shown differing effects on the immune system. This provides another avenue of research studying how the gut microbiome of MS patients is altered and how it affects the disease pathology. Lastly, multiple important metabolites of the gut-brain axis are altered depending on the presence of certain bacteria. So, as previously stated, SCFAs are believed to play a critical role in immunoregulation and as well as having anti-inflammatory effects. So, diving into the future implications of our findings, so with all this information, where do we go from here? First of all, more research, as I said before, is needed to be conducted on the actual link between MS and the gut microbiome. There's still far too little evidence in this space to back up the hypothesis of it being a two-way street between the gut-brain axis and MS. However, there is much research to jump off of as we head into new fields. For example, we know that the recolonization of the gut microbiome can affect the brain and its neurological functions, including MS symptoms. So, another area of interest that I haven't spoken on yet is Treg cells. We know that they can repress inflammation and that there are reduced levels of these in MS patients' intestinal tracts. But we want to look into how specific types of microbes influence the levels of these Treg cells and subsequent symptoms of MS. These are the types of questions we should be asking ourselves as we move forward. Another thing we want to focus on is using our current knowledge to develop therapeutic designs and treatment plans for MS patients. There are a number of ideas being tossed around right now, including antibiotic therapy, phage therapy, probiotic and dietary supplements, and fecal microbiota transplantation. So that's all for now. Thank you so much for listening and have a great day. Thank you.